Hey everybody, I'm back. I figured I'd make another vlog about something else I wanted to talk about. I'm going to try to talk about the best I can without sounding biased or anything like that. The topic I want to talk about is mental health in men, and the reason why I want to talk about that is because men are less likely to receive treatment than women are. Typically, it says let me move the camera over. It says, while mental illnesses affect both men and women, the prevalence of mental illness in men is often lower than women. Men with mental illness are also less likely to have received mental health treatment than women in the past year. However, men are more likely to die by suicide than women, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Recognizing the signs that you or someone you love may have a mental disorder is the first step to getting treatment. The earlier the treatment begins, the more effective it can be. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because, like it said in the article, men are less likely to receive treatment for mental health as women are, and there's more suicide in men than there is in women. And I'm not saying that women are less important. I'm just saying I feel like men should not be afraid to discuss their mental illness. I think that a lot of them don't because it shows a sign of weakness, and as a man you're supposed to be strong and be able to get through things. But everybody has a mental illness. Not everybody has a mental illness. I'm sorry. I mean, a lot of people have mental illness that they don't talk about, and like I said in my other vlog, it can just bottle itself up, and sometimes, unfortunately, it manifests itself into somebody taking their own lives, and we need to stop that as much as we can and make more people comfortable for speaking out about their mental illnesses, especially men. They need to know it's okay to talk about these things and get help for these things. It's nothing they did wrong. It's nothing that anybody asked for or anything like that. But men do need to seek help as much as women do. It's even though there's a less likely chance of men getting mental illness than women, it doesn't make it any different. They still should be able to feel comfortable getting help. This goes on to talk about warning signs and just warning signs and some other information. Like if people are unsure, that's the other thing. Sometimes people are unsure where to get help. You can search the internet. I'm on a website now. It's mental health research. It's I forgot what it stands for, but I'll put a link in the video below. But mental disorders can be treated. If you are unsure where to go for help, ask your family, doctor, or visit NIMH's Help for Mental Illness webpage. Asking questions, providing information to you and your doctors and other providers can improve your care. Talking with your doctor builds trust and leads to better results, quality, safety, and satisfaction. Visit the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality website for more information. And there's also a National Suicide Prevention Line, which I think is something else that needs to be brought to light, is the amount of suicides that happen with people with mental illnesses. I'll probably do another vlog specifically about that, just because it's such a problem all over the place, and that just stems from people being afraid to go out and get help, and they don't know what else to do, and they feel helpless and hopeless, and then they some people unfortunately end up taking their own lives because of their mental illness. So I think it's important to reinforce that in men as well as women, to get mental illness, to get their mental illness checked out or get help for it or whatever. But like I said, I'm not saying there's any sort of difference. It's just men are less likely to get help, and that's why I wanted to do this video, to say that me, myself, I know that it was difficult for me, but I knew that, like, when was it? I think like 5 years ago, I started going to get help on my own. And I'm glad that I did because it helped me a lot. I used to see a regular mental health counselor, and I was drinking at the time. So I was also seeing a CDC counselor, which is a chemical dependency counselor. And that was because I'm a recovering alcoholic as well. So I think that's something else real quick that goes hand in hand is mental health and addiction. So, there's definitely a lot of people out there who are self-medicating just because they don't want to get the help or don't know how to go about getting help, which I think is something that we should educate people on, is where and how to get help, especially for people who want to stop. It's different for people who are addicts and they're not ready to stop, because you're not going to stop until you're ready to stop. And unfortunately, that kind of hinders people getting help sooner. And, it's just stuff that we got to, as a whole, look at differently. We need to remove that stigma of mental illness on people. I don't think that'll happen in my lifetime or our lifetime, that the stigma will be removed, but I do know that we can at least tell other people that it's okay to get help, and to not worry about what other people think. If you have a mental illness, just do what you got to do for yourself. Take care of number one, and you'll be all right. As long as you get the help, and you got to stick to it and be consistent. That's one thing I try to do, is be consistent with my counseling and everything, because I know that I'm only hurting myself if I don't go. There's days that I get up and I don't want to get out of bed, just because I feel so horrible. I feel so depressed that I just don't want to do anything. But if I have counseling on that day, I force myself to go. There have been times when I've overslept because I was depressed, and I just kept sleeping throughout the day, and I've missed my counseling. But one thing I can say is being a man myself, that I'm glad that I started going to counseling, because I wouldn't be where I am without it. It's helped me get my life back. It's helped me straighten things out. I'm obviously no longer a drinker. I can be around people who drink and be around alcohol and not feel like I need to take a drink or anything like that. So, that's all. I chalk that all up to getting help. And like I said, I knew that it was okay for me to get help. I didn't think twice about, oh man, I shouldn't have to do this. If you feel like something's wrong and you're a guy, you should be able to, talk about it and find ways to get help and get a support system in place. It's very important. So, like I said though, I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that. Women need as much help as men do. It's just the fact that men are less likely to get help than women are. And there's more suicides in males than females. So, just want to see that. Yeah, however, men are more likely to die by suicide than women. And, I think that stems from, like I said, men being afraid to get help and not wanting to get help, or not knowing how to go about getting help, or sometimes they're not even able to because of, financial reasons or whatever the case may be. But, there is people out there who they can contact. There's a lot of information online on how to get help. You can start off by asking your primary doctor about what you can do if you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling like you have anxiety, or you're being paranoid, you may have schizophrenia. You should definitely talk to your primary care doctor, and they should be able to get you set up with somebody for counseling and to see a psychiatrist. So, bottom line is, if you're a guy out there and you're struggling, don't worry. There's help out there you can get, and you should definitely take a look online and see whatever else is available to you. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube on how to deal with mental illness as well. Um, there's a lot of great things on Twitter too that are great for mental illness. Great channels to follow. So there's a lot of help out there. You just got to go out and get it. So don't be afraid to do that and get yourself some help. And I hope that everybody who's watched this video has taken something away from it. And I hope this brings more awareness to men, getting help and trying to lower the, or not necessarily like lower, but lessen the chance of some guy taking his own life because he didn't know how to get help, or he didn't want to get help, or he didn't know how to go about getting help, or whatever. But the point is we're trying to eliminate the amount of the suicides that are in men, just because it's higher than in women. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about women again either. This is just something that is an issue with men and mental illness. So I hope that, like I said, I hope you guys got something from this. I'll probably do more videos about it just because I'm a big advocate for suicide awareness, and I think it's something that's very serious that we all need to take a step back and look at, especially when there's people who don't get the help because they're afraid of being judged or made fun of, and they end up taking their own lives because they don't know what else to do and they can't handle it anymore. That kind of stuff needs to stop. And people need to be more understanding of mental illness. Just because it's an invisible illness doesn't mean it's not an illness, and some might say that it is an invisible illness and not take it seriously. But as someone told me before, and I realize now too, this invisible illness can manifest itself in different ways, like panic attacks and withdrawal from medication, and just especially panic attacks. That's one major telltale sign of somebody having some severe anxiety. So we need to educate people on these kinds of things and try to make everything better in the, I don't want to say community, but better for people who have mental illness. And that's what I'm trying to do now by doing my vlog. That's the main reason why I started vlogging too, was to talk about this kind of stuff. So if you're a guy out there and you need help, go get it. And I hope everybody else is doing well too. Like I said again, it's nothing against women, and no bias or anything like that, but I just feel that it's important for men to know, especially according to the numbers here of men that are less likely to get help, to know that they can go get help. So that's all I got for now, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.